I want to add that in case the full recap was flimsy, because some of the stuff that was highly impactful, like Dawn's testimony, her day in court, Cassie's mother on the stand, Cassie herself, of course. I did these recaps word for word with y'all. Hour and a half and all that reason, all that, and I don't mind at all. But if it gets flimsy, I don't want to bore y'all, and I don't want to be bored either. So let's try to make sure we stick to the highlights of day 8 as much as possible, because we're waiting for Kid Cudi. you know, so I want to bore y'all. I want to do my best to try to keep it as balanced as possible. All right, Homeland Security agent back on the stand. He was closing out yesterday, I believe. His name is Gerard Gannon. He was somebody that was involved in the raids of the cribs. He started giving evidence yesterday discussing the raids of Combs' Miami homes. That's the Star Island joint, right? The agent showed photos and items taken during the raid, including sex toys, high heels, loaded guns. Here is a sketch of him holding a rifle, looks like an AR. Okay. All right. Meth cocaine and ketamine found in a Gucci bag during the raids, and phones found inside a boot. Prosecutor Madison is resuming her questioning of Homeland Security Investigations agent where she left off yesterday. She begins to ask him about the collection of high-heeled shoes and boots found during the raids of Combs' Miami homes. The court is told 3 mobile phones were found inside one boot, and is there something on the phones? That's what I care about. What's on the phones? Is there something pertinent to this case? Residue that tested positive for cocaine and ketamine was found inside a Gucci bag, okay, as well as MDMA pills and meth fragments, ketamine, and Xanax, the court hears. Okay. All right. The court is then shown a photo of a closet in a hallway containing 25 bottles of baby oil and 31 bottles of Astroglide. Where's the 1,000 shit? Yo, look at this picture. Is that a rubber duck? Oh, it's one thing to have like memes and people do AI pictures joking on them, but this is the real picture marked in as an exhibit. Exhibit 1B261. You see right here the yellow and the green duck? You got rubber duck. Yo. Why has he got rubber ducks in there with the baby oil? See, when they say a pool of baby oil, this is what makes people believe literally you created a pool and you filled it up with baby. Like literally, you got rubber ducks in the picture. You better hope none of these agents are doing him dirty and like doing placement. Like place this here to, you know how cops will set you up. They throw a little bag of weed on the floor and then arrest you for it. I don't mean to laugh. It's disgusting behavior, but rubber ducks? You, the rubber ducks hits worse than everything else in this picture. It does, because we already heard the testimony. Diddy likes his bodies that he's directing in his porns, allegedly, nice and oiled up and glistening. And he likes that. Break, stop, everybody. More oil, more. That's his thing. As per the testimony, I believe, of the male sex worker, right? Astroglide, dude testified that Diddy uses it. He walked out with the Astroglide. He sat in the corner. He directed him, use it to masturbate. All right. So we understand the Astroglide and the baby oil. Why the fuck are there rubber ducks? Them 2 shits in there, they scare me a little bit. Them's 2 is worse than all of the oil in this picture. What's this right here? This little pussycat shit. There's a little separate spray bottle right here. Why the fuck are there rubber ducks, B? What is this? Nitrous oxide. Food grade nitrous oxide. What's this on the side? Some Euro gas or something? What's this? Nitrous oxide food grade? Instructions for use. Screw the pressure regulator on the gas cylinder by hand before what? Before use. Always read the instruction manual. Filled with nitrous oxide. Are these blow-up dolls or some shit? No, but it says food grade. Euro gas. What the fuck is this box? What the fuck is that? I mean, we heard recently of Kanye trying to sue his dentist for getting hooked on laughing gas and shit, right? What the fuck is this Euro gas thing? They got like a model number here. Part of me wants to Google this shit. UN 1070. I might be scared of what I'm gonna see. Or E9429. I might be scared to see what the fuck that is. I'm gonna leave it at the picture. Fuck it. All right. Male escort Sheree Hayes, that's the Punisher guy that we played earlier on, has previously testified that the baby oil was used during sexual encounters with the rubber ducks is crazy. Edward Coles and his ex-girlfriend Cassie. A photo of a handgun was found in a red suitcase in a guard shack area at Cole's Miami home. Is also shown. Homeland Security agent Gerard Gannon shows the gun to the court and also describes finding a box of 41 bullets. Okay, bullets. So there's some heavy shells, man. That is not 9mm. That look like 40, 45. I ain't 50, but some heavy. What's this? Witness P45 auto. Yeah, I got it. P40. Yeah, 45 caliber. Yeah, because they look heavy. They don't look small at all. They don't look small at all. All right. Defense team begin cross examination. Not like that matters, people. All right. I don't want to come off like, oh, what caliber is the bullets? It's dramatic, right? Caliber of bullets, man, is a self preference thing. Okay. Depending on why you have what you have or why you carry what you carry, people have their own beliefs. 9mm is the most readily available, right? It's what you could find the easiest on the shelves. Do the police still carry 9mm? I'm not sure. Do New York police still carry 9mm? So the stopping power of 9mm is always that middle grounds. Okay, larger capacity, with smaller carrying handguns, but people like let me think about people that's like walking around in the woods and shit. Like if you live in bear country and you gotta have like a 44 Magnum on your hip or a 50 caliber on your hip, like a Glock 10, Glock 20, Glock 20, which is 10mm. So when you start talking about like 10mm rounds, 50 caliber rounds, 45 caliber rounds, 40 caliber rounds, that's a much heavier stopping power level of ammunition. Okay. And some people want to see the threat not run around for fucking with their adrenaline rushing for another 5 minutes after they've been hit. They want to see you like the movies. They want the hitch and they want to see you fly against the wall or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So heavier rounds is very common, man. Somebody decides that what they want in their home or on their hip is 45. Don't jump through a fucking roof. Guns is guns. All right. People die from 22. It is what it is. Defense team begin cross examination. Okay. It was established early on by 10 o'clock in the morning that there was no Kid Cudi. All right. Defense appears to suggest investigators manipulated raid photos. Uh-oh. What, yo, chat, was I not just saying that? Like, yo, nobody better not have put them rubber duckies in his shit. Did I just say that? All right. So the defense is saying, like, nah, y'all manipulated shit, man. It was never 1,000. Cut it out. All right. Homeland Security Investigations agent Gerard Gannon tells the court he knew Combs would not be home when they raided property. Defense lawyer Tenny Garagos initially said Combs was leaving the country with his 3 daughters, but the prosecution raided an objection. Okay, then Gannon describes an armored vehicle. All right, this is how they hit the crib. Garagos turns to guns found in the property, asks Gannon to confirm receiver was wrapped in tape and inoperable. So the receiver, that he must be talking about the AR style rifle that has a lot of people just call uppers and lowers, right? The upper has like the rails, has like think about like the chamber. The lower, think about like the trigger, the handle, etc. That's why guns like AR-15, 16s, these rifles, some of them they get called Frankensteins, right? Because of how much people customize them. I want this upper with this lower. I want this receiver with you see what I'm saying? opposed to, like, let's say a handgun, like a Glock, like a well-known handgun. You don't see that getting Frankenstein. How that comes from the manufacturer, as far as the upper and the lower, the slide and the handle, is pretty much what you're always going to see. People might change some of the internals, change things like the trigger. They want a heavier weighted pull trigger, stuff like that. People, some of you crazy motherfuckers add switches to them, get your ass in trouble for that. So there'd be like additions, red dots, scopes, lights, things like that. But the receiver and the lower in rifles is more commonly customized by people, okay, for whatever goals they're going for. Um, the defense is trying to show that the guns were kept safely stored and magazines were not loaded into the receivers. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Continuing to answer Garrego's questions, Gannon tells the court the tape was removed by a member of his team. Garregos is suggesting the investigators that raided the home manipulated what they found for the photos and arranged them in a way to look nefarious. Okay. Did you ever do fingerprint analysis on these firearms? Asked Garregos. No, says Garregos. So defense is already trying to say, I bet you if we would have did fingerprint analysis, we would only find Combs, if his at all. We might find a security, we might find his, we might find y'all's, nigga. Did y'all take these pictures in certain orders and sequence? The defense is doing what they got to do at this point. I'm still not seeing any Brian Steele. We all want to see Brian Steele right after the YSL shit. It's like we're waiting for one of these star guys to come out in a movie. I'm not seeing any cross or any lawyering up there by Brian Steele. All right, forensics psychologist now giving evidence. All right, so let's make sure we close this out. Yeah, we did. All right, I'll close that out. All right. Dr. Dawn Hughes, a clinical and forensic psychologist, is now giving evidence. Earlier, the judge told the court that Dr. Hughes has not reviewed the evidence in this case and will not talk about its specifics or Cassie Ventura specifically. Hughes also cannot testify about certain topics, including the idea of coercive control or speak about the credibility of the accusers in the case, the court was told. Okay. Instead, she will differentiate and explain different types of abuse according. Okay. Psychological stuff. Okay. We're going mental now. Not necessarily pictures or physical, or we're going mental. This is Dr. Hughes up there. So the prosecution is bringing her, I believe. Okay. Combs passes a note to lawyer as trauma expert is introduced. He's on her heels. Okay. She talks about her training. Okay. Hughes now works at a private clinical practice. Okay. During her introduction, a sidebar with the judge, Combs passes a note. Okay. Trauma expert explains why victims stay in abusive relationships. Oh, I need to see this. I need to see this. I want to see what the jury is going to hear about this, because that continues to be a question. And that is one of the strongest narratives and angles for the defense. The fact that a lot of these people were there on their own will. Consensual. So now you got this psychologist comes up and she's going to break down why people stay in abusive relationships. I thought we already had that answer. We saw the scene in the kitchen with Jay Lopez in the movie Enough, right? We already had that. We already know that the reason why people stay. That's a joke. That's a joke, people. I'm not an animal. That's a joke. All right. That's a joke. All right. Forensic psychologist and trauma expert Dr. Dawn Hughes is asked if victims of abuse remain in relationships. It is common to stay in an abusive relationship, she says. Yeah. Go ask fucking Krishan and Blueface, right? But they get TV shows off of this shit. Make sure the psychologist answers what some of the motives for staying. Not just do they stay. Answer some of the motives and the reasons why they asked stay. And you can't give me no psychological breakdown to, well, this person was trying to fucking get their second Danity Kane album out. When they asked Dawn, why did you go back to re-up? Right? Or when you ask Cassie, like, y'all see where I'm going. Ask her those questions. I want to see both sides. It is common to stay in an abusive relationship, she says. They stay because the abusers are using a lot of behaviors that make people feel entrapped, psychological, emotional, economic abuse, all to keep victims in a relationship to make them feel like they can't leave. Victims also have a bond with their abuser, she adds. Well, Cassie did get up there, and when they asked her, "Do you still love him?" She said, "I love her our past. Like I have no malice towards him." And she damn near wanted to say, like, "I'll fuck with him," but uh, an abuse itself causes psychological disorders which make it difficult to leave a complex, difficult situation, explains Hughes. Psychological disorders? Abuse itself causes psychological disorders. Disorder? Like, is that like giving somebody like twitching and like, because I think you just call that the normalcy of how people react to what they're going through. Disorders, though? Okay. It's difficult to break up in a best of circumstances, she says. Everybody's different. Some people are 1000% no means no. All it takes is one time. You put your fucking hands on me. There goes the door. I'm out. Have a good one. Other people is they walking right back in. Look at the what did it as well? Casino. classic, classic movie Casino. Let's switch it because it's in society and in our face. It's more common to see the woman as the abused and the man as the abuser because the man is typically the more dominant factor in the house, right? More aggressive, physically, all of that, right? So I understand that's a societal perception, and I'm not going to fight against it. You look at a movie like Casino, though, it was kind of reversed, right? Um, Robert De Niro, not physically, but he was damn near being abused by Ginger, right? His girl. How? How do you say? He was in love with her. He wanted to protect her. He wanted to upgrade her. He knew what she was, right? He wanted to upgrade her. When he first asked to sit on that couch, I want you to marry me. And she was like, come on, man, what are we doing here, man? This ain't gonna work. You know, I'm not that type of woman. I'm not for you. He was a sucker for it, but he continued with the whole like, nah, listen, you know, I want to try this. I want you. I know what I want. And she's like, but what happens to me? You know, if this doesn't work, he's like, I'm gonna set you up. You know, we're gonna take some jewelry. We're gonna put it in a safe deposit box in the bank. I'm gonna put some money aside for you. I got you. But she killed him, B. On their wedding night, he caught her on the phone with her pimp, not her ex, her pimp, crying at that. He caught her on the phone one time in one of the scenes saying that they were gonna try to kill him. And remember, he walked into the closet like, oh, you want to kill me? Here I am. You want to kill me? Here I am. And he grabbed her, he threw her out. He threw out the house after catching her on the phone with her pimp ex-man/man, saying that they was gonna try to set him up to kill him. And then a couple hours went by. He's in the bed. He looks out the window. He sees a car lights pulling up. Door opens, and who is it? It's her that walks back in. He looks at her like, and she lays in the bed next to him, like, "Am I still good?" And he's like, oh. And next day in the morning, they're in the kitchen around the kids and everything. He gives her a beeper. Look, man, I need to know where you at all times. He continued to let this bitch come back around. After he caught her and her man/pimp in the restaurant too, giving away his money, trying to line him up to kill him. She doing all this shit, and he just kept taking her back. You know what I'm saying? So art imitates reality. You know, I always reference stuff like that we have seen and be like, oh yeah, that shit do happen. You're right. You know that, right? And it's like, yo, people stay for a lot of different reasons. He kept her because not no psychological disorder, because that's what he wanted. He was so in love with her. He was like, this is my pick. This woman right here. I have to make this work. And to a degree, he knew he picked some flimsy shit. He knew he picked a hustler. He knew that. Because even before he tried to marry her, remember the scene where they was in the casino? She was like, let me get some bread to go, whatever. He gave her some bread. She said that she went to the bathroom or whatever. He came back. He was like, yo, you got any change? And she was like, oh, nah, I spent it. I stopped and I gambled on the way back. And then you hear his narration in the background said, yeah, that's bullshit, though. She just pocketed it. So he knew what type of woman she was. It wasn't no disorder that made him stay. It made him keep allowing this I'm trying to kill you bitch back into his fucking home. No, he just picked her. Just pick the bitch, man. Just pick the bitch. So I don't know, man. Like I'm not gonna be too big on this psychology of it because yes, there's people over there, and well, there's people in this world they mentally just don't have that strength or capacity. Maybe it's nicer to say, to be able to maneuver certain type of people. But I know there's a lot of women watching this trial right now, and they on a Cedric the Entertainer shit. They're like, we live by a different creed, not that light skinned Cassie shit that she was doing. We live by a different creed. The wish factor. The wish. What's the wish for people that don't know what I'm talking about? If you don't grow up in that type of culture, if you don't got that type of personality and character to you, or if you haven't seen the Kings of Comedy and don't know what I'm talking about when I say Cedric the Entertainer. So we live by a different creed. The wish creed. What does that wish mean? I wish a motherfucker would. That's what he means by that. There's a lot of people. Ladies, give me a one in the chat. If you wish Diddy would have put his hands on you one time. Ladies in the chat. If you know what I'm talking about, if you live by the wish creed, ladies in the chat, give me a one in the chat if you wish Diddy would have put his fucking hands on you one time, slapped you one time, bust your eye open one time, hit you with a skillet one time, dragged you one time, mushed you to a brick wall one time. I'll say allegedly for all this shit. One time is what he would have had. Wish. Would have never got to no situations of him having to force you and your mother to take out a $20,000 loan on your crib and pay him back and all this type of shit. Got so many women. I'm holding y'all ladies down. I think there's a lot of strong women out there, right? Y'all gonna, I don't give a fuck how much money you got. I don't give a fuck how much you're gonna stop my career. I wish you would play with me a certain way. It's called self-value. Is it not called self-value? I mean, speak up, ladies. Speak up. No, Big Yellow, you missing it? The wish is the slang. Like, I wish a motherfucker would. You get it? That's why I said it's Cedric the Entertainer. He delivered that scene in Kings of Comedy, man. Come on, Big Yellow. Come on, man. You know what I'm talking about, right? The wish creed. I wish a motherfucker would. I wish you would. It's it's the inverse of like meaning if you do, it's a wrap for you. Oh, okay. My bad, Big Yellow. I was like, you don't know what I'm talking about right now? I was like, oh shit, you with Cassie. Chill out, Ray J. You can't podcast in the hip hop world if you don't know any hip hop world knowledge. I'm a sandbox guy. Somebody puts one wish, I say, chill out, Ray J. Just that fast. Yeah, that's very, very true, Jay. Uh, if anybody's listening on Spotify, when I say Jay, people tend to think I'm talking to our moderator and member Jay. This is a different Jay from the chat. Appreciate you. Love says everyone doesn't know their worth. Yes, that is true. We're in a little intermission / rant right now together. Very, very true. Some people go through life and they never learn what their worth is. Sometimes you have to be taught it. Sometimes you realize it based on what you bring to the table in certain scenarios. If you have a certain level, I don't want to say good or bad, right? Because you got some good parents that just parent different. But there's a certain context of parenting. Abby, I'm on the way. There's a certain context of parenting that makes people understand in so many ways what their worth is from a child. Okay. Um, a man, a father wants to teach his son not to let nobody put no hands on him. Defend yourself. Stick up. That's a self-worth thing. Not the kid that walks down the hallway getting slapped and you're just walking down it like boom, boom. You know, it's self-worth ties into protecting your physical as well, not just your mental, right? Self-worth is it needs to come into play with what you do for a living. If your boss is slapping you around or making you stay too late or whatever, and you just taking it because cutting you a check, you're not looking in the mirror. Now I understand certain people feel like I'm in between a rock and a hard place. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I advance. This is how I get by. I got kids to feed at home. But there has to be a self-worth mechanism in there that pushes your motivation to say, I don't have to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way instead. Fuck y'all. Fuck you. You know? So self-worth, it's established as you come up in many different ways. And like you said, yeah, some people don't know that. But what's the fallback of self worth? Just to close this out, Jay. The fallback of self worth is just being in something that makes you uncomfortable or makes you unhappy. Okay. That's one thing that is universal. And not everybody's learning self worth in the household or as kids or as they come up. But what is universal is pain, unpreferable situations, things that make you feel unhappy. Okay. If you wake up to somebody slapping you in your face, I don't think that you get enjoyment out of that. Right. So there's the trade-off factor that people's going to continue to look at this case for. When you got Cassie's best friend up there talking about some time where they were in Jamaica or whatever, shit was going down on vacation, right? Defense is going to cross that. They're going to say, "Did you have a good time? Did you go willingly? Do you have pictures and video that's popping up going around the internet of you and Diddy walking up on the resort underneath the bungalows and everything and having a good old time?" I mean, best friend is testifying behind the scenes. There was an incident where you went to the bathroom, you took too long, he came and he dragged you and he pushed your head into a wall allegedly and all this type of stuff. But you got the people that's taking the good with the bad, taking the good with the bad. That's where you're gonna have people say, "Yo, use a gold digger, use an opportunist, use this, use that. You weak." And other people's gonna say, "Oh no, you just didn't know how to get away," like the psychologist now. Which side are you gonna stand on? You could justify both ways if you want to guess. Shout out to Miss Abby with the super says, "I have an ex BF to this day questioning why I left the relationship after he raised his hand at me one time. He says, I didn't hit you. I was not going for wait for the next time for him to do it. Nope. This is what I'm saying." So Miss Abby will never be able to understand Cassie. Abby will never be able to understand Cassie because we're talking about a 10 to 11-year relationship that was allegedly abusive. Well, no, we know it was abusive. We've seen the hotel tapes and all this stuff. So it was abusive at times. It was physical. We got all these stories of you having to hide from him and shit. You're scared of him. You want to please him. You don't know what to do. Abby didn't even get hit. She's saying her man raised her hand. And she said, that's the last opportunity you ever get. You should have got your money's worth right there. I'm leaving. So you should have just got your hit there because I'm leaving regardless. Pussy, you ain't even swing. You pump fake and I'm still out, bitch nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pump fake me and I'm still leaving. Clown. Like, so shout the fuck out to Abby for that. You know, and that's what makes it tough. Because there's people in the world. This all started with me sarcastically bringing in the wish shit from Cedric. The wish. I wish there was one occurrence. There's a whole crop of other people that need the psychological breakdowns because they've been there for 10 to 11 years and they don't even understand why they stayed. The only excuse, or I shouldn't say excuse, the only rationale that they can give us is that I didn't want to upset him. I was scared. I didn't want to lose my job. There's just so many people that ain't going for that. So, you know what it is? I'm the person that's not going. So maybe I have a little bit of a bias there, but all right. Y'all gonna really make me stay on this topic, and I'm trying to get back. Yeah. There you go, Abby. Abby says, I'll stay single. I'm cool. I'm all right. That boy Jizzle says some people deal breakers are different. Absolutely. Absolutely. What was it came out in this trial? What was one of the testimonies? Damn, what was one of the person's deal breakers? It was just like, what? That's your deal breaker after all this shit that you've endured? Was it Cassie's best friend? She had a bugged out deal breaker that she testified. But anyway. All right, let's get back to the recap. Let's get back to the recap. All right. It doesn't have to happen all the time. Once they show you the ability to do it, the threats, the controlling, the put downs, that solidifies the threat of using more physical violence. Yes, it does. I can summarize that piece for you very easily. I've always believed in people do what people allow. If I could raise my hand to you and there's no repercussions or consequences for me, The next time I raise my hand, I might hit you. If I hit you and get away with it, and we can get back to normalcy, and you still coming around, and we still fucking, and we still hanging out and all that type of shit, I might hit you again. People do what people allow. That's why kids or young boys and girls still supposed to get taught to stand up to the bully. I'm taking the milk of the kid who's the easy target. The bully knows who's tough. Being a bully is bullies are normally suckers because they got picks. I got my Philly hat on. They got picks. I've never seen a bully in my school years coming up that went after another guy that was tough or wasn't going. And it's not that the bully would lose a fight or lose the confrontation. It's just that I don't want to deal with it. This kid is going to stand up. He's going to make a ruckus. He's going to maybe try to scuffle me back. I don't want to do that. I just want to walk up to one of these nerds in the lunchroom and just be able to take your milk and then walk away. And you ain't going to do shit. You ain't even going to tell it nothing. You don't want to walk up on a guy that's going to say, yo, put that shit back down before I fuck. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. No, you got an easier situation over there with the nerd. Or, you know what I'm saying? So people do it. People allow. And Cassie, the moment you start participating in the freak offs or allowing him to scream on you or hit you, he's going to continue to do it. He can get away with it. There's going to be people around Diddy that say, I never see him hit nobody. He never hit me, never touched me. Why? Because Diddy got picks. Did he do that to every single person? Fuck no. Got picks. All right. Sexual abuse is one of the highest types of traumatic stress, adds Hughes. All right, you're walking around injured and harmed. They experience tremendous amount of shame, humiliation. They don't want to make it public. It prevents them from getting help to get out of the relationship. Yeah, they got her wearing glasses and wearing hoodies and covering up her bruises and whatnot, wearing her hair a certain way, allegedly. All right. She explains how emotional abuse removes a person's motivation to do anything that might be helpful. If you can't talk about what's happening in the relationship, you can't get help. All right. Combs looks relaxed during experts while the expert is giving evidence. All right. Love bombing. What's this? Let's read these real quick. Love bombing. When a victim tries to leave a relationship and the abuser showers them with love, attention, and gifts. All right. Just as fast as I can say love bombing on the abuser side, I can say the acceptor side, you know that they're weak to materialistic stuff. Was that allegedly what Shannon tried to do with Gabby? Pulled up on her with some birthday and Christmas gifts? Allegedly. All right. I mean, this is the same girl that's talking about $10,000 per cheek. Give me 20,000. Allegedly, right? So you know that the person, you know what the person's weakness is, right? It's gifts, it's materials, it's $10,000 an ass cheek, it's money. All right. So you want to know what? Even though I slapped you last night, I'm gonna pull up on you with this $5,000 so you can go shopping. I know you want it. So you guys are revealing each other's weaknesses. All right. Passive self-defense. When a victim tries to least provoking defense possible to get the violence to stop, like blocking punches or curling up in a ball. Okay. Active self-defense. Is the psychologist really getting up there trying to explain to us like when people ball up in fetals and when they get under attack? Like, really? When they push back, yell, throw objects, or stand up for themselves. Shut the fuck up. I mean, it's all true. Like, this happened, but it could happen to fucking Floyd Mayweather. Like, if 20 people run down on Floyd Mayweather right now and catch him in the corner and start stomping him out, he's gonna be in a fetal. Like, hey, come on, man. But the prosecution is this is good for them. Victims often delay disclosing abuse, says expert. I'm skipping this. It's just the psychological aspects. I struggle with people. I'm just a different type of personality. I do understand that people are going through this. I want to be fair. It just doesn't align with me because there's just no psychological boundary that's going to prevent me from making the decisions that I need to make. So I just can't identify with this shit coming in. And I'm cool. I'm skipping it. I gotta say it, people. It's for weak people, all right? I gotta say it. I gotta be real, man. If you want me to be nice with that, I would say weaker. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I don't got no man around me in my circle either. That I can't hit none of my niggas and get away with it. None of my friends. I don't got no nigga in my fucking circle that I could slap in their face and walk away. Nope. And I don't want to. Nope. I can't put my hands on none of my niggas without some form of repercussion or reaction, physical reaction. Nobody gonna give me no verbal reaction. Why you do that, eh? No. I don't even surround birds with a feather. I don't even got them type of people around. I just can't identify with this shit. So I gotta skip it. It's gonna frustrate me, people. I'm sorry. The defense cross-examines this fucking girl. Oh my God. Combs' different behavior during cross-examination. Combs has changed his behavior. He's sitting back in his chair when the prosecution was questioning Hughes. Diddy was looking at Hughes. Oh, whatever. Court breaks for lunch. Okay. Judge grants Combs former assistant immunity to testify. That's this guy that's been going around. Okay, who is this? George Kaplan. We've been hearing his name. All right. George Kaplan has been given immunity. So if he says something that's incriminating, he ain't going to get in trouble for it. All right. It was agreed in court earlier that George Kaplan will testify with a grant of immunity. Kaplan is a former assistant of Combs. During the lunch break, he entered the court and said he was there after receiving a subpoena. So this is another person that may not want to be there, just like the male sex worker Hayes, aka Punisher. Subpoenas. There were initially concerns he would use the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution to avoid testifying. Instead, he said, I'll take that immunity, though. Or they offered it to him, one or the other. He will now testify. Okay. All right. Defense focuses on general nature of experts' testimony. Defense attorney Jonathan Botch is back cross-examining trauma expert. I don't care about this trauma expert shit. I'm sorry. I was not asked to do that. She replied, "Now I'm off her. Let's get to this assistant." Cross-examination focuses on memories and reasons for taking legal action. Under cross-examination by Combs' defense, Dr. Don't. Now I'm cool on this doctor chick. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. Jury sent to break room. 2015 webinar discussed in court. Where's the guy that got immunity? The prosecution argues in the webinar. Okay. Several rejections are made of the line of question. Okay. Former Combs assistant takes a stand. Here we go. George Kaplan. That's what I want. That's what I want to get to. I'm good on this psychological reason why somebody would curl up in a fetal position because they get stomped the fuck out. Bitch, like, the fuck? The wish creed. Wish a motherfucker would. I don't give a fuck if you could be Anderson Silva. Nobody could ever just put their hands on me with no repercussion. You could be Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson. I would like to avoid fighting Anderson Silva or Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather. I would like to avoid those situations. But no man on earth can touch me or physically just hit me or slap or not and get away with it. Even if I'll take the ass whooping if that's how the fight goes. I'll take the ass whooping. I can't look in the mirror if this man walked up on me, did that, and on some Cassie Diddy, I just can't. Now I know that's man woman, it's a different dynamic. I just don't need a fucking psychological breakdown for people that stay in abusive situations. I don't need a psychological expert for that, people. People are different, and people have different motives and different conditions. Period. I don't need her for this. All right, former assistant, Angry Combs threatened my job. So this will be the forced labor and the coercion type of stuff, because coercion, by definition, involves the word force, right? Former assistant George Kaplan says Combs threatened his job on occasion, maybe monthly. The court hears Combs would say he was only surrounded by the best, and those who were not performing wouldn't last. Okay, his tone was motivational, sometimes angry, Kaplan says, all right. He had high standards. Hey, you fucking up, you out of here. A lot of people do that. Maybe not as much in corporate America. Corporate America a little bit different. You know, Coach Prime probably talks to people like that. You fuck up, you're not getting on the court. You will not play. You won't be on my team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that move like that towards the people around them. You know, I'm not gonna demonize Diddy for talking to these people in his circle. Like, I'm tell you right now, man, I'm finna fire you. Keep it up, because it happens every day, and we don't blow that out the water. You know. All right. George Kaplan, a former assistant to Combs, is still on stand describing how He traveled with the musician by private jet. Ooh, private jets. I gotta stop, man. I'm sounding like I'm having a bias, right? I'm not. It's just some of this shit is really pissing me off. Listen, I'm not. I'm still on the 50-yard line, man. 50% that I think he's gonna get convicted. 50% I think he's gonna be let go. I'm not going through any of this shit with a bias, people. It's just I'm being real within my reactions. He would set up hotel rooms for Combs, including clothes, candles, baby oil, Astroglide, adding that Combs would host a female partner at the hotel. After Combs left, it would be Kaplan's job to collect the belongings, take the baby oil away, tidy away lots of liquor bottles, the court here. So you tidy up, use semi cleaning a little bit. All right. Kaplan says it was implied his job was to protect Combs and his public image. Okay, because hotels would sell photos to embarrass celebrities. Yes, if you know that you just had Beyonce check into your hotel, the cleaning ladies are aware of Beyonce just left this room. 100%. Is there lipstick on the sheets? Oh, Beyonce was fucking. I ain't see Jay-Z with a 100%. People make money off of that shit. People exploit you. Celebrities are well aware of when they are not in the confines of their own private dwellings, what they can leave behind that can get them in trouble or make tabloids or hurt their images. They got sponsorships, they got business deals, they got fans, they got all this stuff to protect, right? Even though I'm up here having consensual sex, I can't be leaving lipstick or Astroglide fucking wet spots on the sheets because I'm Beyonce, right? So I get it. And this guy's job was to do that for Diddy. Clean up this shit, make sure I don't end up in fucking tabloids. Okay. On a couple of occasions, Combs had Kaplan bring him drugs, he says, though he never asked him to get a specific type of drug. That's why his ass wanted immunity or got immunity. He up there talking about that you were middleman in drugs, dog. You was a drug runner. All right. Jury is dismissed. Oh, done for the day there. Okay. Not too much. Not too much. So we had one of the agents once again that raided the crib that took the stand. We had his assistant Kaplan that just got immunity, right? And we had the psychological girl of trying to break down and explain why people stay in abusive situations and relationships. All right, jury is dismissed. What's some pictures that they got here? In picture sees guns and massage and messages scrolled on Diddy's mirror. All right, so look at this mirror. What's in the background? Listerine. Is that pink lotion? Black folks know what the fuck that is. Is that pink lotion, B? That's so throwback. Hold on. Is my picture blocking it? It is. Hold on. Let me scroll up a little bit more. Hold on. Let me make sure. Y'all can see? Chat. Black folks. Is that white folks? Y'all definitely don't know about that. Is that pink conditioner? Yo, it's like, come on, man. I had a flat top once upon a time. I had braids once upon a time. Wow, that's hair moisturizer, people. It's just that just so throwback to me. I didn't know that shit still exists. Uh, Witch hazel, Listerine. Do y'all really care about the products? You know what I'm saying? But they talked about what was written on the mirrors. What do you want? Love you, daddy. Lover. Oh no, you a legend. What does that say? What does that say? You a legend. What? I don't know. But it looks like words of encouragement from a woman to a man, though, because it says love you, love. Oh no, it could be a daughter too. Love daddy. Oh no, it could be him leaving messages to his girl or to his kids. You don't know. You never know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. This is the Gucci bag they said with drugs. Okay. All right. The receivers, the lowest. Got a little banana clip here. I got another clip here. Okay. Whatever. This is worth a couple notes here. So I went on a rant yesterday about scratch cereals. Now this looks like a redacted line on the picture evidence, which would mean that there's possibly a cereal here and they covered the cereal because they don't want us internet goons, some of you crazy people on the web, taking this cereal and going to track it down and then going outside of a gun store and, hey, your gun is in, stupid shit. People are crazy on the internet. But underneath this black mark, it looks like it possibly is like an indentation where it could have been scratched. So I don't know. Maybe it's scratched, maybe it's not. But this is an issue for me. The skull with the two swords. I'm gonna tell you why it's an issue for me. It's an issue for me is because that I bet you $50,000 that this skull and these two swords underneath the skull on this receiver right here were not put on there by anybody that purchased or ever had the gun in their possession, like Diddy, for example, allegedly. I would bet $50,000 that it came like that from the manufacturer. Okay. There's a lot of guns that come from the manufacturer with shit like that. Now, I would never purchase a gun that comes from the manufacturer with emblems or pictures on them like that. Why? Because this is exactly what would happen if your gun ever ended up in evidence, whether it's a justified self defense shooting, whether you're fighting something criminal. This is what happens. They will take the picture of the shit, they'll put it in front of a billion people that have no knowledge about guns, gun manufacturers, or gun ownership. And people will say, "Oh, Diddy's gun got a skull on it. Yeah, yeah, killer." That's what'll happen. So, a lesson here for all you gun owners is leave your guns as stock as possible, right? Even the American flag. Hear me out. You got people that are so into, their first and second and third amendments and rights and all the type of stuff. They get their legal guns, legal, and they'll put like the American flag on it, right? You understand that could be used against you. You could be painted as some patriot or some person that's just given on a situation. It'll make you look like you were trigger happy, right? You got people that want to put like their gang on their gun or put skulls on their gun. You know what I'm saying? Put their initial, like, leave your shit stock. Because if your gun ever ends up in evidence, regardless of the type of situation, good or bad for you, people will interpret that shit and they'll interpret it falsely at times. Did you buy the gun like this? No. All right. So what's this picture right here of skull and bones that's on the back of it? Because this Glock 26 didn't come like that. No Glock 26 has skull and bones on it. Why does this one? Did you put it there? Who put this there? Why is it there? What does it mean? You know what I'm saying? So leave your gun stock, people. Don't alter your guns with or any of the visual stuff that can have God knows who perceive you incorrectly. You think for you, it's just an American flag picture on my gun. For somebody else, they're gonna say, "Oh no, you's one of the motherfuckers that shot my little nephew because you think all black people should go back to Africa." I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they'll teach you that. They will teach you that in gun ownership courses and self defense courses that avoid this shit. If it's on there already from the manufacturer, don't buy it. And if your shit is plain Jane, don't put it. I'm telling you, I have an issue with that. Because this just, I don't believe that he put this. I don't. But that's the evidence, and the jury has to know shit that like we just said. All right. All right, all right, all right. Is there more evidence pictures? All right, all right. That's the recap. Let's get into Meek.